The CPU is usually the most expensive component in your computer, and it defines the very character of your machine, so choosing the right CPU is absolutely crucial to getting the computer that meets your needs and budget. Choosing the right CPU depends on the type of programs you use. For programs that are highly multi-threaded, that is, they are able to use all of the cores in the CPU, such as video transcoding and rendering, cores are more important than speed. For programs that are not highly multi-threaded, the speed of the CPU is more important than the number of cores available. To illustrate this, let's take a look at a chart. This chart shows the time it takes for different CPUs to transcode the same file from MPEG-2 format to QuickTime H.264 format. I'm highlighting this process because video transcoding and rendering is highly multi-threaded and is pretty much the most arduous task a processor has to perform. So this will give you a good idea of just how powerful and capable a CPU is. Now take a look at these two CPUs here on bars numbers 1 and 9. Although both CPUs are operating at roughly the same speed, the CPU on bar 1 is operating at 2.93 GHz, and the CPU on bar 9 is operating at 2.8 GHz. The 12-core CPU on bar 1 is able to transcode the same file more than twice as quickly as the 4-core CPU on bar 9, because again, for highly multi-threaded processors, it is more important that I have the cores available to render the video file than the speed at which the cores work. Now, video editing programs that use the CPU for rendering, such as Adobe Premiere Elements and EDIUS, are examples of highly multi-threaded applications. The more cores that are available, the faster the application will render. So, for these programs, I would choose a slower CPU with more cores as opposed to a faster CPU with less cores. However, video editing programs such as Cyberlink PowerDirector and Adobe Premiere Pro, they use the video card to do the rendering. For these programs, I would choose a CPU with less cores and more speed as opposed to a CPU with more cores and less speed, since all the rendering is done by the video card. Photoshop is not a highly multi-threaded program, so I would choose a faster CPU with less cores over a slower CPU with more cores. So, to sum up, if the programs you use are highly multi-threaded or you use many programs simultaneously, then cores are more important than speed, and you should choose a CPU with more cores and a slower speed. If the programs you use are not highly multi-threaded, then speed is more important than cores, and you should choose a CPU with 4 cores and a higher speed as opposed to a 6, 8 or 12 core CPU with a lower speed. Now, to see why this is so, take a look at episode 3.